Hi, my name is Wayne Parker. I'm the city's Chief Administrative Officer, and my role today in this video is to talk a little bit about the issue that's facing the city over the next several months as we talk about the need to replace a number of our critical facilities located on our downtown campus between 3rd West and 5th West on Center Street. So we'll be talking today about three key options that the Mayor and City Council will be considering over the next several months and try to help you as residents understand the complexity of the questions and what we're trying to accomplish. The first option that the Mayor and City Council will be considering is to relocate to the Provo Town Center in the former Sears department store building. There are a number of advantages to that. First of all, the cost is about $44.5 million, which is the least expensive of the three alternatives that are being considered. Additionally, the building is about 20 years old and consequently is built to a higher seismic standard than the city offices or police headquarters were 50 years ago when the bonds were approved and the construction was begun. The building has sufficient room to accommodate the City Hall functions as well as the public safety functions of police, fire, and emergency dispatch. Another important advantage is that there's abundant parking, which has always been a struggle on the city center block. The time to build the building would be about a year to retrofit the building, which would be a much shorter time frame and therefore one of the reasons why the cost is lower. It would get us to meet a time horizon of about 25 to 30 years and also has room for expansion as well adjacent to the existing property. One of the things that is real positive about locating at the mall is that it would help anchor mall redevelopment. So it would bring a significant office user to the mall, which would help improve the chances for the mall's future long-term success. And then finally, if the city were to leave the downtown property, we have 9 acres here that we own that could be sold for redevelopment and could bring some really exciting advantages to the downtown if it were to be redeveloped with other uses, things like housing, hospitality and hotel, office space, and additional retail. Some of the challenges with option 1 is the unknown impact to downtown Provo. By leaving downtown, we would intend to redevelop the block, but that's still a question mark as to what that would look like and how robust that would be. Option 1 is also a little less walkable simply because it's located at a mall and in the middle of a sea of parking, which can create some challenges for those who would like to walk to City Hall. And then finally, we would have to deal with the constraints in the existing building rather than being able to design a new building from scratch, particularly for the public safety features that would be available to the city under both options 2 and 3. The second option the city is considering is to build a new public safety building here on the downtown city center block and then renovate City Hall to accomplish the seismic upgrades that would be needed for city services. This is a really great project for police, fire, and dispatch because it puts them in a brand new building that could be seismically secure and would have the space necessary to meet the needs of the police and fire departments for the long run. That we see as a significant positive. Some of the downsides would be that the city center, as it currently exists, would still be a 50-year-old building as we start, and on the 20 to 25-year time horizon would be that much older. We also are concerned about potential expansion space. When we build a new building on this block, we'll struggle once again with parking and need to come up with some creative parking solutions. But again, we think there's some real serious advantages for police and fire. We also anticipate by building on this block that we could have some temporary relocation issues as we're building a new building and still trying to occupy the current city center. We'll struggle with temporary parking issues for our employees and for visitors. We think that'll be an inconvenience. Additionally, it takes a little longer to build, so it'd be about a 2-year time frame to build the new public safety building from scratch. And so, again, having an older building still leaves us with some pretty significant operational costs over the long period of time and would not be as inexpensive as one of the other options. The third option that the City Council and Mayor are considering is to essentially replace the existing city center with the brand new City Hall and public safety building on the downtown block. The cost of this option is about $60 million, so quite a bit more expensive than the other two options, but it would result in brand new buildings. some advantages to new buildings in that we eliminate some of the challenges we face with the current city center in terms of space allocation. The building would be much more efficient, could be a lot more green in the standpoint of trying to be environmentally conscious as well, a lot more energy efficient, and would allow us to do a really good space layout, not being constrained by either the dimensions of the Sears box at the mall or by the dimensions of the existing city center that would be just remodeled under option number 2. The time horizon for construction is quite a bit longer. It's 3 years because we'd have to play sort of hopscotch with the buildings. Build a new building, move some employees in, move employees out of a building, and build a new building. So it could be a little more complicated. Also, very likely the parking could continue to be a problem. We may need to consider some structured parking in order to accommodate that concern. But we could maybe mitigate that by making both buildings smaller footprint on the ground and more stories above ground, which would allow us again to better utilize the space in the downtown. So there's more complications with this, but it probably is a better long-term solution and reduces our operating costs and therefore the burden on taxpayers over a long period of time. One of the other advantages of this particular option would be to allow us to move some of the city facilities and buildings that would be much closer to Center Street, which could better activate Center Street, and it would also give us some opportunity potentially to do additional redevelopment, maybe to add some retail, office, or residential on the block if we were able to do structured parking.
Thank you for taking the time to become more informed. This is a critical decision. I'm looking forward to your input. Please visit our website, provo.org/new Provo City Center.